Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Tonight, has Keir Starmer got Rhiannon White's blood on his hands? I posed this question weeks ago when she got fatally stabbed 19 times in the head in Warsaw on her way home from work by a Sudanese, I think he is, asylum seeker. No, not an asylum seeker, an illegal migrant who shouldn't have even been in the country. But now it's over. Well, the sentence is over, but not for her family. And her mum has turned around today and said, Starmer's not done enough. She says Starmer's got blood on his hands. Do you agree? I must admit, I'm very tempted to agree because he could solve all of this overnight. He has to secure the borders. All this fannying about is, as I keep saying, playing Russian roulette with our daughters, our wives, our sisters, our children. Do you agree? Let's show him how angry we are. Plus, of course, Peter Mandelson, his political career at last is completely over. What an out-and-out crook he is. And what do you make of these Epstein files? They wheeled out Starmer. I was amazed to make a statement about China in the Commons, which everybody laughed at. But later, when they were talking about the betrayal, I would even go so far as to say the treasonous behavior of the Prince of Darkness, Mandelson, they didn't have him. They had that bloke from Birmingham answering the questions. Starmer is so in the shit, it's unbelievable. He'll need a snorkel the way it's going on. Surely he's finished. But has he got blood on his hands with this young woman? Craig Marston says Starmer has got blood on his hand. Lena Taylor, we're going straight to the calls tonight. Not just Starmer, it's the whole flipping lot of them. For F's sake, says Lena Taylor, one of my regulars. If you've not joined in before, welcome to the show. I've had a few days off. I've been really poorly. I got a story about the NHS today, which I'll shove into the hat as well. So don't go anywhere, where this is going to be an absolute cracking show, let me assure you. Because I'm asking the question a lot of people must be now demanding answers to. The murder of Rhiannon White has completely shocked the country. And her mother has made an emotional and explosive accusation today on GB News. I watched it. I was in tears. I wrote a tweet about it. I was so angry I wanted to kick the telly in. But she basically said the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, has, and I quote directly, blood on his hands for failing to secure Britain's borders. She said a lot of things that I've been saying. You know, she said, for example, Rhiannon isn't the first, and she won't be the last. I agree with her on that. I take no delight in her agreeing with me because it's a savage indictment. But it's not just of Starmer, our whole political class. How long has this been going on for? Why can we not stop the boats when we could stop Hitler with just Captain Mainwaring and the Butcher? We could, couldn't we? I'm joking to a certain extent, but they never got in. How on earth have we got ourselves in a situation where these flip-flop warriors are coming into our country, invading our country? Not all of them are crooks. Well, not all of them are rapists and sexual attackers and murderers, but every single one of them is a crook because they've come in illegally. And then today we're here. Starmer's got a new idea, although it looks like he's going to do a U-turn on it even before he's done it. 15th U-turn, by the way. He was going to give them all council houses. That's right, before us. So let's talk about Rhiannon. It's not an isolated tragedy. We do have to be careful because there is a case in Nuneaton today. You know the case I'm talking about, but it's active. I think it will be decided by the end of tomorrow. But this is why I'm saying it's not isolated. We've had cases already, and we'll have more cases as time goes on. And then we've got the protests, whether it's at the Bell Hotel or indeed now at Crowborough or in Scotland. Why is Starmer doing something that we, the British public, do not want? And then he's still got his ridiculous protests about Palestine going on, hasn't he? But why should women be worried about walking home from work? This woman had been working. She walks across the car park to the train station. This savage, that's the only way to describe him, follows her. And then you see him go up the steps on the CCTV. A few minutes later, you see him coming back down again after stabbing her 19 times. Stabbed her 19 times, killed her on the platform. And not only that, they then get a video. They've got a video of him about an hour later back at the 4-star hotel. Oh, and they've got a video just before that where he's buying alcohol in Tesco's with his credit card that no doubt us mugs are filled up. Then he's dancing in the car park of the hotel as if he hasn't got a worry in the world. And then this bastard, and I use that word advisedly, refused to cooperate with the police. He said it wasn't him. He wouldn't give them his age, kept saying he was a kid so that he didn't get as long. They've ascertained now he's probably 28. Not only that, he'd been on a tour through Europe, I think Germany, Switzerland and other countries, decided they weren't soft touch enough, I presume, and came to England. Got himself a 4-star hotel in Warsaw, nice squeezy soap, brand new clothes, nice mobile phone, doctor on tap. We are mugs. And I'm beginning now to really agree with Rhiannon White. Mother, she says, protest, fear, anger. Women say they don't feel safe. We are facing a public safety crisis. We have no leadership. And the bottom line is Starmer has to declare a state of emergency. We've got to stop all immigration, whether it's illegal or legal at the moment, until we know who we've got in the country. Do you agree or disagree? Let's get talking tonight. Don't hang back. Let's have your opinion. I haven't been here for a few days. You've had some respite, but now we want your views. And I'm chucking in another subject tonight because it's broken that Mandelson has obviously been on the fiddle. Sue me if you want, Peter. I can't believe it. He said he got his boyfriend, or his husband, got paid 75 grand directly into his bank account by the foul paedophile. Mandelson said, I don't recall that. I will have to investigate it. I tell you what, Peter, you're probably busy at the moment, so don't worry you investigating it, because I say the police should investigate it, and the police should be investigating you. He stitched up Gordon Brown. I don't suppose anyone's going to lose sleep over that either. But what a monster this guy is. And what about the BBC? Only 4 weeks ago, they interviewed him on Laura Kunsberg's show as if he was the great diplomat, the great survivor. The man is a crook. The man is a manipulator. The man is a liar. But let me ask you one other question on this. How did he get the job to be the ambassador for America? Starmer gave him the job. The spooks are Secret Service, meant to be the best in the world. They must have said, Starmer, don't touch him with a barge pole. Or I wouldn't touch him with yours, etc. And so we know the jokes. But Starmer insisted, and look how it's ended, with a laughing stock of the world. He was effectively giving away state secrets. He was telling the paedophile, Chief Nonce, exactly what the government was going to do. And then he was using that information, because he worked some big financial banks, to his own advantage. How low can you get? First of all, being mates with a paedophile, and it wasn't before he knew when he'd been found guilty the first time. Mandelson kept up the friendship with him. But you've got to look at this back right to the root. How have we got a political system where these things keep happening? And how have we got a political system where today the media have been obsessed with the Epstein tapes, which I don't blame them, some interesting stuff. But Rhiannon and her savage murder and the testimony of her mum this morning, which was some of the best news interviewing I've ever seen, Dawn Newsome and Eamon Holmes, why has that been forgotten about by the BBC? Because they much prefer the Mandelson story. So politics moves on. So the concerns of you and I that we don't want to be living next to all these people don't get taken seriously. Did you see there's another report today? The countryside is racist again. Why are they putting forward this shit? Obvious, because they want to move all the illegals into the countryside. And if you object, then you are racist. This madness has got to stop. We've got to have a state of emergency, and we've got to have it now. Do you agree? Oh, and of course, he's back from China telling everyone it was a raging success. I think he brought back a deal on Scottish whiskey, which is worth... I've got more freebies when I've gone to my local Chinese takeaway, and they give you a fortune cookie and a free menu. Starmer is pathetic. Let's go. Can't believe they're considering putting the flip-floppers in new council houses, says Craig Urquhart. There will be uproar. Correct, Craig. But that is what they're going to do. That's the latest. That's the latest. Let's build new council houses or refurb some. And first of all, let's give it to the flip-flop for warriors. No. Just like the terrible murder. This can all be stopped. I know we've got murderers amongst ourselves and our own settled population, but you don't let more in, do you? Especially when you don't know who they all are. Let's move on. Leanne Taylor, I appreciate that not all of them will commit crimes, John, but what is the long-term plan for them? Apart from bleeding us dry, there is no long-term plan. That's the plan. Craig says, John, do you think Mandelson could have been blackmailing Starmer? Well, I don't know. Well, if you'd asked me that yesterday, I'd have said, don't be so stupid, Craig. But after the revelation today, he was telling big financial banks, oh, yeah, Gordon Brown, I've persuaded him to resign. Now, whether it was true or not, you can't do that if you're a government minister. He's on the take. He's a crook. And he resigned this morning, did you notice, from the Labour Party, but he was going to still stay in the Lords, or so he thought. Starmer has developed half a backbone. He hasn't sacked him. He said he can't, but he said, I would rather he wasn't in the House of Lords. Well, I'll tell you something, Sir Keir. I'd have rather you'd not have given him Ambassador of the United States of America title. I'd have preferred it if you'd listened to your spooks. Why didn't you? It can't be that you were being blackmailed. Oh, Craig Marston, what? Go and wash your mouth out with soap and water. What a foul accusation. Pamela Millett, Starmer wants them here. Otherwise, we'd close our borders and detain and deport. Yeah, remember, it's got to be deter, detain, deport. Donald Trump told Starmer what to do with illegal immigrants. Trump called them the enemy within. Correct. Absolutely on the money, Pam. You and Donald Trump together. It's gone crazy. You know, because I've had this bad knee. And by the way, thanks for asking. It's absolutely killed me. You don't realize how much you use your knees, do you? Well, some people. I didn't realize how much you need your knees. Everything you do, everything you turn. My left knee has recovered. My right knee, I had to change the dressing today. I thought, well, I'll be okay because I've come to Oxford, obviously, to see Rosie and look after the dog. So I thought I'll just go to a doctor's. I bet they'll change it. They'll have a nurse there who'll do that for me. I phoned up and said, I wonder if you can help me. I'm not registered with you, but my daughter is. But I damaged my knee last week. I just need a quick appointment with a nurse who could change the dressing. No. That was all she said. No. I said, pardon? This is after I'd been on the phone for half an hour. Press 1, press 2. Can we call you back when we're less busy? And all that shit they come out with. I said, what do you mean, no? We don't do that. Pardon? No, please, thank you. Sorry, sir. Awful. What is the injury? Are you bleeding to death at the moment on the steps? None of that. Just no, we don't do that. I said, well, I find that odd. I said, I thought it was the NHS. Clues in the title. National Health Service. So I've damaged myself. I've gone along to my doctor. They've wrapped me all up and sorted it all out. But they said I must get it looked at Monday or Tuesday. So if it's not today, that's fine. Can you fit me in tomorrow? No. I've told you already we don't do that. And I had to hold myself because I wanted to go around there and punch this bitch's face in. Let me tell you, I was very angry about it. I said, okay, you've been ever so unhelpful. Have a lovely day yourself, and put the phone down. Can you believe that? Oh, that's the other thing. So before she went, she said, you'll have to go to the hospital. I said, go to the hospital just to have a bandage changed. Yes. A&E? Yes. I said, I thought A&E was in crisis. The last thing they need me is me turning up just for a bandage change. It'll take about 2 minutes. And also, how do I get to the hospital? The hospital's in Oxford. I'm in a quaint little village. I'm just waiting for Morse to come by in his Jaguar. She didn't get that. She just said, no, that's your problem. I could not believe it. I'm going to write to the local health, whatever it's called, and to her head GP. That's no way to treat people, is it? Well, you'd have thought they said, oh, yeah, come in, we'll just quickly do it. But you'll have to come in at such and such time because we're ever so busy. Or can you come tonight? Or whatever. I'd have just fitted in. So I hobbled to the chemist and bought some of these bloody massive what do you call them, dressing things. And I've had to put it on myself. And I'm not very good at DIY or decorating or any of that. It looks a right mess. A right mess. So I'm in agony, but I thought I've got to do a show tonight. But has anybody else got another example of that? How can that be? I'm a supporter of the NHS. The other day when they patched me up, fantastic. But you can't get a dressing changed if you're not with the same quack. No, that can't be right, can it? It can't be. I felt like saying, well, give me 5 minutes, love. I'm just going to go and buy a life raft or dinghy from B&Q and I'll be outside your doors desperately wanting every checkup you've got, and I might need a wig. This country has gone to the flipping dogs. Are you with me or against me? Oh, don't you wind me up now. ZXR, Alien Warrior, QPR 2, Coventry 1. Wheels coming off. We're still top of the league, big boy, but I must admit we were crap. We were absolutely crap. Because QPR, if you're a QPR fan, you've got nothing to brag about. Earlier in the season, would have put 10 past you. But it is worrying for Coventry City. But thank you for picking on me when I'm in agony. That's the kind of bloke you are, is it? By the way, if you want to join in, feel free. Just put a comment and we'll come to it in a moment. I'd like some views on Mandelson. I'd like some views on the NHS. I can't believe that's official policy. And you know me, I'm a bit like a dog with a bone. Not today, because I wasn't feeding too good. But come tomorrow, I'm going to find out via the NHS whether you can go to another doctor's. Of course you can. They don't want people bleeding to death on the stairs, do they? I bet if I'd rung up and the first thing I'd said is, I need interpreter. That's my impression of any Johnny foreigner. I need interpreter. I bet she'd have helped me then. What do you reckon? I need new flip-flops. It's wrong, isn't it? It's fundamentally wrong. All I wanted was the nurse to look at it, matron, and tell me that it's not, because I think it's going a bit gangy, you know? Tell me what to put on. I went to the local chemist. She was quite helpful. And then I was a brave soldier. I was like Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. You know when they get bitten by a snake? So I basically gripped myself like that and put the old antiseptic stuff on to clean it up. Cried my bloody eyes out. Annette Locke. Hello, Annette. Because the women in this country have been forsaken. This is good. As the price to pay for the multicultural failed dream. It's not a dream, it's a flipping nightmare. I'd ask you to consider, we give them food, we give them shelter, and they want to give them work. There's one element missing, John. Women. Do they expect through social engineering our daughters and women are meant to fill that gap, no matter what our thoughts or preferences might be, and willing or not? Well, they certainly think women are there just to be, it would appear, or some of them do. I know where you're coming from, Annette. It's disgraceful. And it's disgraceful that our MPs don't care. And the other thing in this interview, if you're not seeing it, go on the internet and find it. Go on to GB News and find it. Because the mum also says not one single MP has been in touch with her to ask how the family are. I mean, Starmer, you'd have thought he'd have gone. But ever since Starmer got ran out of Southport, he doesn't do tea and sympathy anymore, does he? He just does feather in his own nest and presents for his best chum, Mandelson. He disgusts me. He's not a leader. I couldn't believe it when she said, no one's been in touch to ask how we are. No one. Not even the local MP, I found out later in the day. How disgusting is that? Good evening, everyone. It is the Jon Gaunt Show. Don't forget, the best way to follow me and the best way to support me is on YouTube. It's called Jon Gaunt TV. The first time you go there, a little pop-up comes up and it says, do you want to subscribe? Please say yes. Doesn't cost you anything. Just means then you're on our virtual mailing list. So it's yes to that question. And if you'd like to donate money to keep these going, please do by just clicking on the $ on your screen if you're watching on YouTube, or otherwise go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything from $5 upwards. Really would appreciate it. So please help me out. Craig Marston says, John, I think Starmer came back from China with more in duty free. That's a very, very good point. Thank you. Useless. He brought nothing back. He's useless. Mandelson is the connection to Blair. The problem is, John, if the state claims that sand is water and they shout longer and louder enough, some idiots will drink it. We are screwed, says David KT. I think you're right, mate. Yeah, I saw that, says Craig. I don't know what you're on about there, but anyway, fair enough. Where are we going next? Let's go to Jackie Ward. Why on earth doesn't this government get it? They are so frustrating. All they have to do is lock them in the army camps until they've been processed. There's nothing wrong with that. If they object, tell them the alternative is to go back home. They'll soon be agreeing to be locked in. But of course, the woke fraternity will object more than the bloody illegals. Why do we kowtow to these minorities? Says Jackie Ward. What a brilliant comment. Thank you, Jackie. Keep them coming. Oh, ZXR Alien Warrior is back in the good books. He just slagged off Coventry for getting beaten by QPR. On the day, QPR deserved to win. By the way, they weren't very good, and we would have hammered you early in the season. I don't know what's going wrong with Coventry. It's worrying. And what he's done here, he's banged in a $5 on YouTube by clicking the little $. He says, get some bandages for that team of yours. Oh, he's still having a go. Fair enough, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Jean-Marc in Bordeaux. He says, hello from France. I don't know if I want to talk to you. Are you one of the ones who've been waving them through? I like your views. Let's have an opinion. No, John. 15 hours A&E at least. Bad knee. Then you get sepsis and pneumonia, etc. Thank you, Nigel. That's very kind of you. I've had sepsis. That's what the nurse said to me when she bandaged me up. She said, make sure you do change the dressing and you come back Tuesday or Wednesday next week, she said. So I was trying to do it in advance. I've had sepsis. I nearly died. I lost everything. I lost my career because of it. Because I couldn't do anything. 2 years I was bad. I don't want to do that again. I just couldn't believe this receptionist. Anybody work in doctors? Anybody know whether that's true, what she's saying? No. You have to go to your own doctors. But I can't get to my own doctors. I'm living down here for the week, looking after my daughter. No. Craig Urquhart, good to hear that you gave her a dressing down. Yeah, I certainly did. If I'd had a dressing gown with me, I'd have strangled the bitch. So I don't. I'm only joking. That's me banned. At least the knee problem isn't affecting your gob, John, says Lena Tell. I tell you what, Lena, it is. It is. Because you can't concentrate on anything. He says, not concentrating on anything. It's really difficult because the pain's excruciating. I'm on paracetamol and I'm on, what's that other one? I can't pronounce it. Begins with an I. That one. Not nice. It's not nice. David KT says, I dressed my wife's leg for 14 years because the NHS couldn't be bothered until I lost her on the 24th of November, 2025. Oh, David, that's a sad story. That is a sad story, mate. That is sad. You pay in, all you want is fair treatment, don't you? See, I didn't think it would matter. I thought, especially with it being countryside in this little village, I thought they'd just say, yeah, don't worry, come in, pop in. We'll squeeze you in between Mr. Jones the butcher and whatever. No, he said. No, we don't do that. I half want to die now to say, killed by the NHS. Computer says death. Paul Rowbottom. Safe to say, John, they have shit on a lot of these bastards, ergo they do as they're told. We matter not. Thank you. Craig Martin. John, I had a letter from my surgeon saying that I had an appointment on Tuesday. So I went to hospital and on the computer, my appointment was Thursday. Yeah, those mistakes happen and it's annoying. You're meant to be having your brain surgery, are you? What's happened about that? Anyway, let's move on. You can go to another doctor's, even a dentist. I did both when I was in Great Yarmouth, even hospital, when I had acute appendicitis. I got treated exceptionally well. By all, says Pamela Millett. How come you did it then? Is it the way you asked? I mean, I was really polite on the phone. See, I did think it was the policy that the NHS would rather you get treated before it gets bad. That's what they're always saying to do, isn't it? Because what if it does go, and it has gone a bit, I won't go into the details. I'll show you the photos later. I won't go into details, Pam. But if I get any form of infection in it, I'm going to have these bastards. Because what would it have taken? 5 minutes? Maximum. I'd have even probably given a donation. I just think it's disgusting. I just can't believe it. But if I turned up, and I am only half joking, if I turned up in a rubber dinghy with flip-flops and an Adidas tracksuit on, they'd have wanted to give me the full medical, wouldn't they? The full Monty. All I wanted was them to take carefully off this sterile patch, put another, just clean it up, mop it up a little bit. I had to do that myself. I was so brave. I was like cleaning it. You know when they chew on those, they chew on the knife or a piece of leather, don't they? While the other guy pulls out the bullet with his teeth, or the snake bite. That's what it was like. Honestly, ladies, come on, you must have some sympathy. And they wouldn't do that for me. And then I went to the chemist and she was very helpful. In fact, at one point I thought she was going to say drop them so she could have a look at it, but she didn't. But I couldn't believe it. NHS, what a load of cobblers. Hi, John. Mandy has been sacked so many times by Blair. Remember him? Remember him? Yes, I do. With Starmer, want to witch hunt our veterans over the Iraq war. Yeah, the pair of them are as bad as each other. Thank you very much indeed. Now I'm getting advice from the French geezer, Jean-Marc Boudou. You can always go into a walk-in centre and can temporarily transfer to a GP up to 3 months before returning to your own GP. I'm only here for 2 days. In fact, I'm going home tomorrow night now, so I can see my doctor or nurse on Wednesday, Jean-Marc Boudou. But the bottom line is, it shouldn't be that difficult. All I wanted was a bandage put back on. That's not a lot to ask. It might be in France, but it isn't in Britain. I find it just incredible. And the other thing about you go to a walk-in centre. This is a village in the middle of nowhere. The closest walk-in centre is about 18 miles away. I asked one of the villagers, I said, do you get Uber? Yeah, they just laughed at me. They didn't know what it was. They've only just got electricity. Den Spinks. I went to hospital too. Hospital A&E when my knee cartilage caused me pain. They said I've got to see my doctor first. That was 15 years ago. Thank you, Den Spinks. That's funny. John, I'd put in a complaint with the NHS Ombudsman. Yeah, I know, but life's too short, isn't it? Life is too short. Pamela Millett says, yes, have them, John. I think the receptionist is fobbing you off. Some receptionists can be like little Hitlers. Well, yeah, we all know that. They can. You're right. I got the impression, mind you, no, I'm not going to say the next bit because it will just be a diversion. John, had my spinal surgery cancelled as Labour not the NHS to do any operations. Oh, I've authorised that the NHS can't do any operations with a 50% or less success rate. I have to lose weight until another government to get the operation on again that will help me walk. Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Not nice. Not nice at all. This blooming Frenchman can't get enough of me tonight. Where is he? Yes, when you see your GP back home, the GP visit you had should be listed on the NHS England system. You think the computer system works, do you? I think not somewhat, Jean-Marc Baudot. If you have problems, you say, I have rights under the Patient's Charter. You're a typical Frenchman, aren't you? You know all your rights. Why don't you go and burn some sheep for me or set fire to a ferry, like you French normally do? Protest for the Englishman. Free the Englishman. No? I'm joking, by the way, my friend. Right, anybody else going to comment? Oh, no, because I'll give you the phone number then. Just feel free, put a comment up. Mandelson. We'll do a bigger show on Mandelson tomorrow, I think. This show was kind of knocked together relatively quickly because I haven't been feeling very well. And I've said that already. Don't forget, if you want to make a donation, pay my taxi fare to get to the walk-in centre in the next town, I tell you who the bloody MP was for around here, who I can blame this on. I know him. David Cameron used to be the constituency MP. Maybe I should give him a bell. Or on my way home tomorrow, get Lisa Diver, go in there. I know where he lives. It can't be right. All I wanted was a bandage changing. Am I being unreasonable? Mandelson, then. Is that the end of his career? And do you say good riddance to all the rubbish? And what about the situation we've got at the moment where women just aren't safe on the streets? They're just not. They're just not. Right, that's me done then. Thank you you got in just before I went, Darren. Darren Wilson's just donated a $5 on a super sticker on YouTube by pressing the $sign. Thank you, Darren. That's very kind of you. That is really kind of you. Thank you. I tell you, I had one of those moments tonight with my daughter. I'm staying overnight tonight to look after the dog. She's not coming back tonight. And she's gone to see a friend in London. So I said, where are you now, Rose? She said, I'm just in Stratford. And I said, and you're on the phone? She said, yeah. I said, well, you be careful. I don't want you walking through the East End with your phone out. Someone will have it away from you. She said, Dad, stop panicking. Next time I spoke to her, she was speaking Romanian, and it was a fella's voice. No, I'm joking. But it's frightening, and it's also annoying that you have to say to your daughter, be careful. ZXR, Alien Warrior, thank you for the contribution, by the way, said, I'm sure Mandelson has plenty of dirt on our great communist leader, Keir Starmer. You'll have to be very careful how he deals with the former ambassador to the US. They won't just be Ukrainian boys. Thank you very much indeed. John, did you know that Lord Alley used to work for Maxwell's father? Yes, and so did most of the Labour government. Alistair Campbell used to work for the Daily Mirror, and that big fat bastard before he drowned off the back of his boat. I just subscribed, and you're closing. Only for now, Jean-Marc Baudot. I can't carry on all night, but I'll be back tomorrow at 6. And if you have subscribed, you'll be able to see the whole archive now on Jon Gaunt's YouTube page. How about that? You'll be able to see whatever you want. There we are. I was just going to say something to you then before I got put off. No, it's gone. Right, I apologise if the show wasn't very good, but thank you if you've donated today. Darren Wilson, thank you very much indeed. Jean-Marc, thank you very much. If you'd like, and ZXR, Alien Warrior, thank you as well. I'll be back tomorrow. Might do it a bit earlier, but I will be doing a show tomorrow. So that's it. And I'll tell you whether I've written to the doctors. Do you know what the worst thing is when you get upset by somebody? Oh, I'm going to tell the doctors, right? And then you don't do it, do you? Because life's too short. Mandelson has been in Parliament for years. They all knew what he has been up to, says Annette Locke. Correct, Annette. But they all play thick now, don't they? Oh, I never knew. I never knew he did that. I didn't know he was up to all that. Never mind. Jackie Ward has given me my 3 red hearts, which means it's time for me to go. Now, I've done 36 minutes. Not a long one, but that's not a bad one. Thank you very much indeed. The Frenchman's still trying to help me. He says, Jean-Marc says, tell the patient manager. Maybe. Do you reckon that'll help? Terry Wheatley says, I bought you a beer. Hope you get better soon. Okay. I've got the dog now brushing my hand. You can't see him. Just here. Come in. I think he must want his dinner. He's seen that I've got myself a steak for my protein. Jon Gaunt, can you go, please? I've got to get back to work. Who's that? Steve MOT. Yeah, all right, Steve, I'm off. Right, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. I'll speak to you tomorrow at 6. Cheers, bye.